Live from the gargantuan Playroom Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Yes! Yes, yes, yes! It's your boy Doug Stewart. Thanks for joining me. And I really appreciate it. And a lot going on in the world of sports. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on what's going on in our nation's capital with the Washington Redskins. And I'm just going to get to it, man. And some of you probably are wondering why you all duded up, got on extra makeup, because I'm just leaving the studios at HLN, and so I felt like I'm not going to let this nice suit, this nice shirt, and this nice makeup go to waste. So I said I'm going to tape a show, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. This is the Doug Stewart Show, man. I'm going to give you some information a little bit later how you need to pass the word on the show and tell people about the most fun show on radio. Now listen, let me say this, or on YouTube. This isn't going to be your typical show that I've done. I think this is episode number 8. I'm pissed off in this show. I'm kind of angry in this show. I'm angry at the Washington Redskins for what's going on in our nation's capital. It's just downright foolishness right now. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're about to shut down RG3. They've got issues with the name of the team, the Redskins. Mike Shanahan's on the hot seat. He's pretty much going to be fired. I'm going to address every single one of these issues right now with the Washington Redskins. First up is Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan, I'm angry at you. You know why? Because now you trying to be Mr. Sensitivity. Now you Mr. Ralph Tresvant and wanting to sit down RG3. When you knew good and well that boy wasn't healthy. You knew good and well that he wasn't ready to go this year, but you bought into the hype. I'll talk more about that in a second. Why didn't you sit him down last year when you know the young man was hurt, where he went back out on the field and hurt that knee again? So I'm mad at you, Mike Shanahan, and you're probably going to be fired. Everybody knows that you're going to be fired, that you're on the hot seat. You really, technically, let's be honest, the numbers don't lie. Sometimes numbers do lie. But in this particular situation, Mike Shanahan, numbers don't lie. If you look at your coaching record pre-Denver Broncos with John Elway and Terrell Davis, you weren't that great of a coach. I'm not going to say you were a bad coach. I'm going to say coaches grow over time and they get better at what they do. But you weren't that great of a coach. Your record before Elway and Terrell Davis and your record after Elway and Terrell Davis is totally different when you had those guys and you were winning those Super Bowls. So I'm mad at you, okay? I'm mad at you, Mike Shanahan, because pretty much you have done nothing. You have done absolutely nothing with this opportunity in Washington, with our nation's capital and the Washington Redskins. Now, you know who else I'm mad at? I'm mad at Daniel Snyder. I'm mad at Daniel Snyder because you know why? Ever since Daniel Snyder's owned that team, it's been a mockery. You haven't done anything as an owner. I don't know whether you're playing fantasy football or whatever, and you think that, you know, you're supposed to do this, that, and the other. You bring in coach after coach after coach, and it's not working. You don't know what you're doing, okay? You have no concept what you're doing. And I mean, the numbers prove that. The Redskins have not been a successful organization pretty much since you've taken over. Yeah, Steve Spurrier, bring back Joe Gibbs. Now you bring in Mike Shanahan, and it hasn't worked. You got to do something different, bruh. And it's not just changing the coach. You got to do something fundamentally different with that organization than what you've been doing before. How do they say it? The definition of insanity is to do the same thing and expect a different outcome. Okay? Redskins fans, he's not getting it done. Okay? He owns the team. He has the money. I get that. So he can do whatever the hell he wants. But it's not been good. And the third person that I'm angry with is RG3 himself. Yes, Robert Griffith III himself. You know why I'm mad at you, bruh? I'm mad at you because you started believing your own press clippings. You started believing that you were Superman. You thought that you could come back from a knee injury, an ACL injury, which I happen to know a lot about. You thought that you could come back from this injury and just be the same guy. It don't work like that, bro. Now, I know what happened. I know exactly what happened, and really, you're collateral damage for what Adrian Peterson did when he came back from his torn ACL and shook up the world and ran for over 2,000 yards. I'm here to tell you that it just don't happen like that, RG3. It doesn't. That wasn't the norm, okay? That was the exception to the rule what Adrian Peterson did. Now, listen, let me say this about this guy. I don't know how Adrian Peterson did what he did. I don't know what that ninja was taking. I don't know how he worked out in the offseason to come back and rush for 2,000 yards after a torn ACL. But it's miraculous. It's very fishy, but it's miraculous. RG3, you thought you could do it. It was the exception to the rule. Not everybody can come back and do it the way that Adrian Peterson did. I'm living testimony. That's a 2-year injury. To come back from that injury, it's 2 years at the minimal, okay? Some guys come back a little stronger, a little better, but psychologically, with you hurting it more than once when you did hurt it, the fact that you had a torn ACL in college when you were at Baylor, psychologically is playing into your game as well. And make no mistakes about it. Make no mistakes about it. Half of your game, RG3, is your athleticism. Half your game is what the good Lord gave you athletically. And if you don't have it, you're not the same player. It's as simple as that. So, I blame you for coming back early. If you watched RG3 play at the beginning of the year, you knew good and well that he wasn't healthy, that he wasn't the same guy, that he still needed some time out. I was saying it. You can go back on Twitter and look at what I posted. The guy shouldn't have came back probably until week 6 or 7. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He can fill in. He can play that role. He can be a starter for the Redskins. He's proven that on occasion. You weren't ready, bruh. You just weren't ready, and I think you started to believe it, and it's inspirational, and you making all these pep talks and these speeches. You just weren't ready. And the last thing I want to talk about, why the Washington Redskins organization just disgusts me, is the name itself. Right now, there's a lot of outrage from our Indian brethren, our Native American brethren about this name. Some of them are outraged, some of them aren't. I don't know why. I know that back in the day when the settlers came to this country, they gave you a couple of B's and you gave them New York City. Okay? So now they give you this, I don't know if they give you a couple of dollars here or there or whatever. Some of you are okay with it, but you shouldn't be. Bottom line, the time's going to change. This is 2013. The Washington Redskin name has to change. You know why? Because it's only right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Think about it. If you're a black American, would you be happy if they named the team the Washington Blackskins? Or if you're an Asian American and they named the team the Washington Yellow People, would you be okay with that? Hell no. If you were a Martian and they named the team the Washington Greenskins after Martians, you wouldn't be okay with that. You wouldn't be okay with that. So why is it that Daniel Snyder insists that he's not going to change the name? If it offends one person, if it offends one Native American, they should change it. And they offend way more than one Native American. They do. Okay? So you need to change the name. You need to get with the times. I went to Newberry College my freshman year in college. 1988. They changed their name. You know why? Because it was the right thing to do. Redskins fans, you should demand a change. I'm telling you, you should. Times have changed. Just 2013, baby. You can't have your team named Redskins. That sounds ridiculous. Y'all got a mess up there in Washington. I haven't seen this big of a mess in a long time with an NFL franchise. Daniel Snyder, Shanahan, and RG3, all of y'all are part of the problem. All of y'all cause all this mess up there in our nation's capital. Yep, that's right. All right, listen, Pass the word on the show. Tell people. Like the show. And the big thing is to subscribe to the show. Right down there. Hit that subscribe button. And you can also go into your settings and set it up whereas when I do a new show, you will get an email. It's easy to figure out, all right? This is The Doug Stewart Show. TheDougStewartShow.com. Email me, Doug@TheDougStewartShow.com. And you can also text your boy, 770-847-0536. What do you think? There's some mess up there in Washington. And you know it, and I know it. All right? It's The Doug Stewart Show.